Hi, my name is Mark Monlix, and you are watching Epic Sketch Time. Now, I'm a freelance illustrator here in Tacoma, Washington. I do a lot of things. Um, I'm kind of known for my compilation of cartoon movie reviews underneath the title The Comic Critic, and I also do another webcomic called The Return of Stickman. And let's see who else we have with us today.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ian Castrita. I'm an illustrator, graphic designer out in Arizona. You can find my stuff at unfedartist.com. I'm working on a lot of things. If you want to see some of my old webcomic, you can check out the employeesonlycomic.com. Otherwise, there's links on my social profiles. And today I am working actually on a banner for my social media stuff because I don't have one yet, and it's been put off for too long. So we'll see how far I get. Hey, it's Bill.
Yes, and I'm Bill Morse. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator, and I do a webcomic called Rhapsodies.
And we have a first-time person with us today. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm just a 2D illustrator from South Korea, and I have an old comic called A's for Alan, but it's been discontinued for years. So today I'm going to be working on a new comic, actually. So hopefully it'll be online sometime this year.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, welcome to Epic Sketch Time.
Likewise, yes.
So as always, I am continuing my series of obscure movie aliens. Does anyone recognize this little guy?
Oh, vaguely, but I'm not. You've had him before, but I'm still blanking on the name. Starts with a Q, right?
The creature his creature's name might start with a Q, but the name of the movie is the Pod People. It's like a really bad South American version of E.T. Well, pardon me. It's a Spanish film. It's really abysmal. It's really, really awful. And I think this guy's name is actually Honky. So.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a rejected Muppet to me. I don't know.
It looked a little bit like the sort of alien pet in that Sid and Marty Krofft show that had Jim Denver in it. What was it? Far Out Space Freaks or something like that?
Oh, you're thinking the show that had Bob Denver in it?
Yes.
Yeah, they did have sort of like a weird looking, sort of like a cross between this and the ape creature from Star Trek. That it was white and fuzzy. Keep getting this one designer. I'm helping her out with some consultation. First thing I'm trying to do is convince her just to go online and copyright things. Oh my God, she's just, I told her I was in a conference call and she's still mad. I'm more of a phone person. I don't like to text.
Is she new, just starting out?
Well, she's been out for about 1 or 2 years. You're a sweet mother. Oh my God. It's like having to drag people into reality by the skin of their teeth the moment. Now, she didn't have a contract, and of course things went sideways, and now she wants to get paid. And anyway.
Yeah, I came across somebody when I was starting out who was having a client difficulty, and they didn't really have a legit contract. They had more of just kind of an agreement of what what services they would provide. So there was no like cancellation clause or anything like that. And things had, of course, had gone sour. And so he was at the point where he was talking about a lawyer and things like that. It's like, it really pays to have a contract, a really good one. So.
Or even one that's slightly clear, but never a verbal agreement.
Yeah, yeah.
And you should certainly stop working on a project if you're feeling all uncomfortable but actually getting paid. Anyway, so I'm sure it'll all work out for it. It's just that she's so caught up in it right now. She's living and breathing fire, and she just needs to take a moment and back away from it and not respond to the client until she has a clear head.
Yeah.
So, Bill, you're back from your vacation.
Yes, I am. With much better reception. Sorry about last week in that respect. It sort of got cut off completely and couldn't get back on. Word of advice, do not do conference calls on a guest account. But yes, it was very nice.
How did your mom enjoy Epic Sketch Time?
Oh, good. Yeah, I hope.
Oh, were you calling from your mom's place, Bill?
Well, at that moment, I was calling from the university, the Marine Center's library, but yeah, she was sitting in.
Oh.
As moms are wont to do.
Did she start critiquing you while you were drying or anything like that?
No, she's generally pretty good about it. I mean, as far as to a certain extent, I've been wowing her with my art, so I don't get that much comment. Well, not my cartoons, but my more traditional art. I was essentially spending as much time as I possibly could use doing watercolors in the woods, and a good chunk of them came out very well.
Yeah, I've been seeing those. They are pretty nice.
Thank you.
Has your Instagram account been responding well to those postings?
Fairly well, but not quite as well as some of the other things I've had. I don't know whether it's a I don't know whether it's a schedule thing, but I've been averaging. Let's see, what was the highest count on them? I think I got as high as 30 on one of them. But again, I think it was very dependent on exactly when I posted them. I mean, for the most part, I have my best luck posting stuff at 5 and 6, but 5 and 6 on the East Coast means 3-ish. So here, let's see. My last one, my last coastal one had 35 hits. This one, 20, 28, another 28, 20. So not as good as I can get with some of my cartoon stuff. I mean, for example, I've yet to top some of the Sketch Challenge pictures. With the Sketch Challenge, the highest I've ever gone was about 50, but I notice it's, for the most part, it continues to pick up partially by using a lot of tags and partially because more people are following me and the word's beginning to get out a little more. Now, I think
what was the Sketch Challenge? Was that when you were doing the fairy tales?
Yes. So my record so far is 54 likes with the traveling companion. And I think that's the best I've ever done, though I had one with mermaids last year during Inktober that was close to that high. And I also do really well on the Dune pictures.
doing illustrations during Inktober with the hashtag Inktober is a great way to build up your Twitter and your Instagram following.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are so many artists out there participating.
Yeah, and I've also been beginning to think that I'm been doing well enough on it that I started. Well, it hasn't been that viral, but the principles sound.
I had something really fun happen to me last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my existing clients, or rather, one of my supporters from Kickstarter, who happened to be local, one of their clients came in, saw the deck, absolutely fell in love with the deck, wanted to buy horror-themed gifts for everybody for Christmas. And so she stops by and ended up buying a brick of the cards and 2 sets of the bingo card one day and 1 set of the bingo cards the next day. So the grand total came to $190.
Congrats. That take care of your complaints about still being in the red?
No, but there's a big chunk towards. I was about $1,000 in the red, but I knew I was going to be about that far in when I accepted the stretch goal of improving the print quality of the piece. And I'd always anticipated putting more money in to print more. I just didn't think I'd be able to print so many of them and have such a big inventory after the fact. So I'm very pleased with that, especially since the aftermarket sales through my SquareUp account seem to be fairly brisk. Well, I mean, not brisk. I'm not getting one every single day, but certainly they're outshining the sales I had from my books.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Stowe said that he wasn't going to be trying to get in today because he's on vacation with his family. And I know that Crystal's having a really long day, so she might join us towards the end, but I think she might be completely out of commission. I'm glad to see you, Ian. Where were you last week?
I think I was working on some client stuff, if I remember correctly. I'm just trying to get the bills paid, so I didn't have time to take a break. At least I think that's what's going on. Seems like if I'm not working, I should be working. So so trust me, I wasn't taking a nap or anything, or maybe I was. Maybe I just passed out. But yeah, it's been pretty hectic. The sad thing is, and maybe you could sympathize, it's just like when you're self-employed, you feel guilty taking time off because it's like, oh, I could be doing this, I could be doing that, and I would love just to stop and go watch a movie or maybe just play a video game. That'd be amazing. So
I'm like you. I feel guilty if I don't do things, but I have routines like this that I force myself to keep to when I actually socialize with other people. And if I get a call from a friend saying, "Hey, let's do lunch," unless I have a crunching deadline, I'll usually just go for the lunch. The other day, I went with my next door neighbor, and we went and got some takeout fish and chips. It was catfish sandwiches. Yeah, there's this place in Tacoma called the Fish House, and they make the best catfish sandwiches. We went down there, grabbed some catfish sandwiches, and just went and sat and had lunch in the park. And he couldn't remember the last time he had done that. He said it had been at least 10 years. It was a beautiful day, too. I used to, back before the interweb came along, I would schedule up, or I have a phone bank of people I would call. Oh, excuse me, I got someone at the front door.
Yep.
Sounds like she's playing hardball.
And Jimmy, what are you drawing right now?
I'm just coming up with a few character designs for a possible future comic.
So what's the subject? It looks vaguely period.
Oh, well, I'm trying to focus on Korean myths because I don't think a lot of people know much about Korean myths.
Okay,
So-
that looks like that. I always forget the name of it, but that sort of classic dress with sort of what looks like a I forget what the name of it is, but it's the sort of jacket part is sort of chest, and then it's a long skirt that goes all the way down to the ankles.
That's called a hanbok.
Okay.
Hanbok.
Mm-hmm.
Han is the character for Korea, and
Right.
bok just means like clothing wear.
Okay.
So it's traditional. Hanbok is just pretty much traditional Korean dresses, and the top part is called a chogori.
Okay.
I'm going to try to modernize the bottom part, so hopefully like some fancy shorts that are currently popular in Korea,
Mm-hmm.
and possibly like a see-through chima jogori, which is like the dress part. So we'll see how it goes.
Am I right in saying it looks like she has high stockings on underneath that?
I don't really know yet. I think I'm going to go for stockings though because I want her in the traditional Korean shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to see how it works.
Huh.
Just playing around with a few designs.
Very cool.
My wife is completely addicted to Korean soap operas.
Ooh,
Historical ones if she can find them. You know, she absolutely loved Jewel in the Palace.
Oh, that's the one where with the alternate the alternate history where the Korean royalty is still powerful. And
right. That's really old.
I don't think it was an alternate history, though, was it? I thought it was
It
just.
is. It's an alternate history.
I've also watched a little bit of My Girlfriend is a Nine-Tailed Fox.
Oh, okay. So I guess these are more, I guess, fantasy history, but not really.
Right.
They're more like spin-offs, I guess. Actually, Jewel in the Palace was actually from a Korean manhwa,
Uh-huh.
and they adapted it into a TV series, which is I thought was pretty cool, because not a lot of Korean manhwa is very popular. So that's really cool.
And I'm trying. She loves getting into these young people, sappy romance. I mean, just wonderful stuff. She thinks that's. I'm trying to remember some of the ones that she's seen. Usually it involves some gal who's trying to become a bakery chef, and she is in love with some guy who's a total jerk.
That's usually the pattern, no?
I'm wondering if there's a specific name for that particular genre.
I guess romance comedy, like.
Yeah, romance comedy. So she loves watching those.
Where does one watch Korean soap operas?
Crunchyroll has a lot of them, doesn't they?
Crunchyroll?
I think so.
Crunchyroll has quite a collection of live action as well as anime from various countries.
Ooh.
And so my wife subscribes to that. But we're also fortunate in that we usually have a couple channels here. I live in Tacoma, which is in Washington State, which is on the West Coast. Tacoma has a huge Korean population. So there's a lot of shows that cater to that demographic on various cable channels. We used to have one called the cable channel called just Asia, but now I think we're watching a channel that I think is basically the Japanese equivalent of PBS. I can't remember the name of it. THC. But we're lucky. We have options and choices.
That's cool.
And there's always the Korean video store. She was putting a strong eye out when we lost the Asia channel. She was very upset about that. But you can watch Crunchyroll for free, Bill. But we hate all the ads. So she got the subscription. I think it's like $7.50.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I do watch it for free, but it's you're right. It's sort of like I'm cool with something. I'm cool with how commercials are, how these guys make their revenue, but a number of commercials and kind of commercials Crunchyroll has, it borders on being an extortion tactic.
I think their main source of revenue is on the subscriptions because all the problems you have with the advertising completely go away. The downloading speeds go away. You get a lot more that you have access to. So I know that you don't like to spend money on anything, but
it's a Scottish thing.
I don't think anybody likes spending money if they can avoid it. At least I hope so. It's just like, yay, here's money.
And I'm probably going to be even cheaper than usual for the next couple of months as I sort of bit the bullet and replaced my computer.
What did you get?
Oh, just the newer and larger version of the Mac. I mean, it had been sluggish for a while, and
I thought you replaced your laptop months ago.
This is the office computer.
Ah, okay.
I was sort of following up with what you always say, Mark, that you really should replace your tech about every 3 years maximum. And since I've had...
Did I say that? I mean, because my last laptop was 10 years old, and my computer that I have right now is 8 years old. So are you sure I'm the guy that said that?
Pretty sure you were, though mine's almost 8 years too.
Start putting words in your mouth, Mark. I'm just,
yeah.
What can you, dude? You're incredibly quotable. But either way, this is why I am drawing on my laptop right now, because my new machine is in the process of reading my backup hard drive.
Oh, so when did you go out and pick this up? As soon as you got home, or?
Yeah, essentially, I was having a drama. Remember my tweet about spilling coffee?
Oh yes.
It pretty much finished off my my ailing keyboard, and so it sort of, and at the same time, while I've been complaining about my computer being sluggish for some time, it was having a outburst of being really sluggish. And when I say sluggish, I mean it takes 10 minutes for it to turn on, and then once it's turned on, another 15 minutes to sort of wake up properly, or for that damn beach ball to go away.
So it sounds like you're firmly in the Apple camp, Bill. Like, have you ever tried PC at all, or no?
Used to be. I mean, I don't laugh. I mean, but partially because I tend to be extremely indecisive. I find it best for me to be brand loyal, even though I'm not quite as religious as some people I know. Which is difficult because I have a few friends who are PC fanatics who love to lay the dogma on me every time they see my laptop.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, that's, to me, it's proof that humanity is naturally religious.
It is a cult, but I don't know. It seems like for creatives, Macs are the way to go.
That's my general attitude.
Yeah.
But as I said, it's I come down from I frequently have a bad case of what I call Baskin-Robbins syndrome. Do I have to explain, or your laugh figured at you knowing exactly what I mean?
No, 31 flavors can be pretty daunting. You're just like,
Yeah.
what? 31? That's awesome.
So if you look up on my screen now, I've got another alien. Does anyone have any idea what this is from?
Wow.
That one,
yes, no, I have no idea.
I mean, the skin culture looks vaguely like the mole, one of the mole men, but I know it's not that.
If it was in color, this basically would look like a giant black apple fritter for a head with a video screen in the front where the eyes should be. And it was quite possibly one of the worst aliens I've ever seen, but it was called Bad Channels. And it was so bad, I can't even remember what the movie was about. It was so loathsome. But I think it came out in the late 80s when things were still on VHS. So, and when screens were still very small.
So if you barely remember the movie, like, how do you remember the monster? Are you like keeping a catalog of cool monsters and just drawing them later on, or do you, like, how do you find this stuff if you can barely remember it?
Well, you know, I can remember the monster because the monster is so, black apple fritter, shiny head, looked like it was spray painted black. You just don't remember those crucial little, you don't forget.
Yeah.
The searingly bad details. It becomes more of a fact of, okay, what was the name of that movie that horrible thing was in? That becomes the challenge. But what I found is if I do a drawing, just a rough sketch, and I try to do a reverse draw or a reverse find on Google, sometimes it actually works.
No kidding.
Or if you do a keyword search of apple fritter head, that's how I found this guy.
Wow.
I mean, that name alone sounds like a obscure monster movie that, that you'd be drawing, like Apple Fritterhead Part 2. I mean, it's so good.
I did belong to back when Yahoo had groups. There was a group that discussed really awful movies. But since then, it's a lot easier on Facebook to find groups where they're always posting stuff. There's one called Horror Everything that I belong to, and it's filled with buffs just like myself who have seen quite possibly everything and then more. You know, a lot of people take pride that they can recognize something because they watch Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Sure.
But, that's training wheel stuff compared to some of the stuff these people bring up.
Sounds like these are guys who make you sound like a dilettante.
I am such a noob with some of these people.
Yeah.
But it's great too.
One of the fun things as far as speaking of films on a lighter note, one of the fun things I had with my movie choices at the folks' places. I exposed them to the works of Jacques Tati, and it went over very well. So we saw Mr. Hulat's Holiday again, and then we saw My Uncle.
I'm surprised they haven't seen those movies before.
Yeah, because essentially my dad tends to have a weakness for schlock, slapstick humor and stuff, and a lot of the lowbrow stuff, and Tati's stuff is very slapstick, even though it's a lot lighter than what us Yanks generally consider slapstick. It's rather interesting. I wonder if I keep wondering if Fritz Freleng was a fan of Tati's work, because Mr. Hulat keeps reminding me of the Pink Panther.
Yeah, I won't even pretend to keep up with you guys when you start talking about stuff like this. I'm just like, nope. If it was in Blockbuster, maybe I saw it, but otherwise it wasn't. That's about it.
Well, Bill is lucky in that Seattle has the last remaining great video store called Scarecrow, and they've got everything.
Everything.
What, like a rental store, or just like a
rental store? It's
really?
Yeah, they've kept it alive. They did a Kickstarter to keep it alive, and in some cases, the VHS that they have is the last VHS in existence, so you have to put down a heavier deposit for some rentals than others.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, I try to do my part in supporting them by taking full advantage of their 2-for-1 deal on Wednesdays, and to make things interesting, I try to make some use out of it by using these things as blog fodder and write some very bad reviews afterwards.
Huh.
So,
Bill, what's going to be your double feature this week? Have you figured?
I'm still thinking about it, though. I had a rather interesting tip that I'm considering. Where is it? I stumbled over a review. Where did I put that note?
It's to your left.
Oh, here it is. No. I was recommended. There's a. I had Tora recommended to me, and he and the guy on YouTube who is doing the review of Tora also thought it would out loud that it went well with another World War II film that was very character oriented, and I'm blank. I had it written down, and I'm not fine. I can't see where I put that bleeping index card.
It wasn't From Here to Eternity, was it?
No, it was not. Yeah, because essentially it's actually a page that I really recommend. This guy specializes in nitpicking historical films. Where is it?
Well, if you were going to do Tora, I would suggest doing the Battle of Midway. As a nice counterpoint, because you have, you got the early point in the film, in the history where the U.S. is, been knocked down, and then you get to the point, in the turning point of the war where the Japanese get knocked down.
Ah.
And what's interesting is the one for Midway is pretty accurate. I like the character Robert Mitchum plays. He's plays this general who was supposed to be in charge of the Pacific Theater at that time, but he came down with a case of terrible eczema. So he was hospitalized, and so they had to put this other general in his place. And the Japanese were used to the tactics of the Robert Mitchum's characters, and And the other general pretty much caught them completely off guard because his tactics were totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was an interesting point in the film. And they also go into like a blow by blow of, oh, this was the scouting airplane that first saw them at such and so time and date.
Yeah, because essentially the guy was doing Tora 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 because he was kept being asked to review Pearl Harbor, which is a movie he can't stand.
Oh, the new Pearl Harbor? Oh my
Yes.
God, that's terrible. Yeah, that movie's awful. It's like they tried to condense the whole war into a 2-hour film.
And be as jingoistic as humanly possible.
I saw a really wonderful character-driven piece. It was I believe, a South Korean film, and it was called TGA. It was about being on being stationed along the demilitarized zone, and there was a murder mystery thriller attached into it. And then another good war movie from another country's perspective is Europa, Europa. Or if you haven't seen it, watch Tin Drum, which came out, I believe, in the 70s, and is just fantastic. And obviously, I've killed the conversation now with talk of war movies. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, this is the guy I was talking about, and the Tora 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 review is the latest one.
You know, I started supporting somebody on Patreon does video or movie reviews. His name's Mikey, Movies with Mikey. Have you guys heard of that?
No, but I'll check him out. He doesn't do spoilers, does he? Because I hate spoilers.
If the movie is pretty recent, he'll warn you about it. He'll say, "Hey, this is gonna have spoilers." But usually his stuff is kind of like a couple years old or something. Like when he started out, he did like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 and stuff like that. So I don't know how long he's been doing it for. I want to say like a couple years now.
Number 2, you're talking about the ones with the Henson Studio costumes?
Yeah, and Vanilla Ice. And
I kind of like the first one, though I don't think it holds up very well now.
Dude, does any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie hold up?
I have not actually gone to seeing the most recent ones. I don't know. It's something about Megan Fox just kind of put me off on watching them. Like, because I'm not very happy with the Transformer movies. I haven't seen any of the recent ones either, and I just kind of thought that it was going to be the same kind of material, so I didn't want to go ruin my impression of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I actually love a lot. Like when the movies came out and I was a kid, I was deep into it, so I didn't want to ruin that picture of bodaciousness that I had in my head.
So I think the last movie I've actually seen at the theater was Alien Covenant. I could have sworn I saw another one, but I can't seem to remember. Obviously, it didn't strike a chord with me if I can't remember it.
The last one I saw was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I think was the last one for me.
Yeah, and the next one on my list is Wonder Woman that I've been putting off because the friend of mine who I usually watch genre stuff with doesn't like crowds, so we always wait about 3 weeks.
Well, it's been certainly longer than 3 weeks.
I was in Maine.
The movie I saw before Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was the new Power Rangers film. And
Oh my God.
and I dragged my little brother to go see it because he used to just be a fanatic when it came to Power Rangers. He could basically quote back to you every monster, every weapon, just everything. And so I thought it'd be a fun trip down memory lane, and that was just an awful movie. But it's just I don't know. Do either of you want to watch it? Like if I talk about it, are there going to be spoilers for you guys? Or
I'm probably if I see it, I'll be getting it at the library.
I will be watching it, so feel free to tell me all about it.
So the only thing I want to say is there's this product placement for Krispy Kreme donuts, and it's just so obvious and just so like in your face. Like it's just on top of everything. It's suddenly like the secret, to preventing complete destruction of Earth is underneath a Krispy Kreme donuts, and you're just like, what is going on? Like, and they just keep on saying Krispy Kreme donuts. They don't use like any adjectives or pronouns or anything. It's just Krispy Kreme donuts, Krispy Kreme donuts. And suddenly you're just like, oh my God, you just want to walk out of the theater.
Now I'm trying to remember. Did the Kellogg's ever have an anti-Semitic owner to the company at one point?
The cereal company?
Yes.
Wow, I have no idea.
Because I just started rewatching Gentleman's Agreement, which has Cary Grant in it. And he's basically a reporter who decided to pretend to be Jewish to write about anti-Semitism. And in the first scene of the movie, he is sitting down with his son, and they're having breakfast, and it's grape nut flakes and and corn flakes. I'm wondering, okay, they're obviously making that in the picture. I'm wondering if it's A, product placement, or B, a social commentary on the Kellogg's company, because I know that here's an interesting fact that you'll find absolutely, well, I wouldn't say wonderful, but the circumcision in the United States can be traced back to the Kellogg's grocery company.
Sure. Yeah. That's if you watch well, I think it's Adam Ruins Everything on YouTube. Yeah, that's where I found out about that.
He covered that.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that knows this. That's
yeah, it's a fun show to watch, especially if you kind of want your your beliefs about the way things are set up to be kind of shattered, like that crying Indian thing, that commercial that everybody knows about, the anti-pollution ad.
yes.
That was actually created by the manufacturing companies because they didn't want to take the responsibility for the disposal of their own packaging, so they wanted to push that onto the public. So it wasn't like a public service ad or anything like that. It was actually like a something to sway public opinion and make everybody believe that it was their problem to throw away packaging, not the company's.
Oh, that was excellent. I didn't hear about that. Did you know that clamshell packaging is illegal in Japan?
Really? Why is that?
Okay, if you think about clamshells, you get this big piece of plastic that's usually covering up a tiny little item. So you got a lot of this bulk waste material. And you think about Japan, it's a small country. There aren't a whole lot of landfills. So there's a lot of laws in Japan that govern packaging And one of them is, if you're going to be doing a clamshell, you better have a good solid reason of why to do it, or you pay the. I think they have packaging tariffs as well. I found out about that because one of my friends designs packaging, and they had to redo a whole line of packaging to go over to Japan.
That's kind of interesting. Oh, Jimmy, you came back.
Oh, yeah, I was having breakfast.
What time is it there?
It's like 9:30 in the morning.
Wow.
What time is it for you guys?
Let's see, where Bill and I'm at, it is 5:23 p.m.
Yep, same for me.
But we also have people that come on here that are on the East Coast, and they're even 3 hours farther along.
Right.
How often do international artists get on Epic Sketch Time?
Well,
I think this is a first, isn't it, Bill?
well, Locke is from Toronto, if that counts.
Nah, no, I was kidding.
Never count, yes.
Canada doesn't really exist. It's just an imaginary place.
Oh.
It's just a suburb of the U.S., that's all.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty exciting to see the South Korean artists on the show. I mean, a lot of the stuff that's coming out of South Korea is pretty exciting nowadays. Like I can't remember. Is Steam Boy a South Korean animated film?
That's unless Satomo was contracting with a Korean studio. I'm pretty sure that's Japanese.
I want to say I saw like a really cool animated film from South Korea, but
I know there are some good stuff. I'm not blanking. Though at the moment I'm only aware of the works of some of the studios that like there was a very good Korean studio that did. I think they did both the animation work for Avatar and Steven Universe, and I don't remember their name.
Yeah, that's right, but I don't remember the name either.
I mean, I have the word manhwa in my head, but I know that's wrong because I know that's the name for comic books.
Yeah. It's okay, we can Google it later.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at the moment, the only Korean comics that are sticking in my head are some web comics. There's one that I just recently started reading called Tower of God.
Yeah, that one's popular.
yeah, I just Googled South Korean animated movies, and I'm not seeing anything I recognize. So I guess it's on me. I need to start watching some more South Korean stuff.
I mean, as far as South Korean movies, I'm very much a fan of Park's work, the guy who did the Revenge trilogy.
Ooh.
But I was amazed how much I liked Old Boy. I wasn't sure what I was going to think about it because originally I'd read the manga that it's based on, and was not expecting it to be.
Bill, you're fading out on us.
Come back.
Sorry,
Well, what happened there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Now, did you have your finger on the keyboard again?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I saw Old Boy, and yeah, it's a really good film, but I definitely not the film I want to see twice. I mean, it was pretty upsetting, but I guess that's why it's so good.
I've seen his entire trilogy. All of his films are very hard hitting.
I mean, it's hard to watch if you've had extensive dental work, which I've had.
Jeez.
Oh, I've had extensive dental work.
I can't say that I have.
It's usually not on the questionnaire when I want to watch a film, but I guess it could be added.
Sure, why not?
So that really gets me is on dental work isn't from those films. It's from Tom Hanks' Castaway.
Oh yeah, sure.
Trying to take out a tooth with a what was it?
It was an ice skate.
Yeah. Oh my God. Just
Yeah.
That made me wince.
Yeah, ever since then, I've kind of like in my head for like if I'm ever stuck on a desert island, like I kind of always want to throw a toothbrush in there, you know, just for, just in case, because good dental hygiene, you pretty much need it everywhere.
Yeah, it's funny. It's every time somebody gives, I always find myself can't resisting to be a wise ass when people ask what books would you read if you were stuck on a desert island, and I'm sort of immediately looking off tropical diseases of the so-and-so, boat building 101.
Yeah.
No, you don't get it.
How to start a fire.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the the Boy Scout handbook.
Now I want cookies.
What Boy Scouts sell cookies and no? I thought it was the Girl Scouts that sold cookies.
Yeah.
But I had a cookie for breakfast today, so big fat chocolate chip thing. Oh, it was good. Mm. Met up with some friends at a bakery for my. It was supposed to be a. We call it freelance fandango. We're supposed to be working when we're there, but we basically just kibitz and talk about shop for the most part.
That sounds like another podcast all by itself.
Now, a friend of mine named Daniel Abraham and I have been doing these video vlogs on Law and Artist, but I've decided that even though we're keeping them down to 3 minutes, we're having a hard time retaining viewers, even though the topics are really good. Like talking about contracts and copyright and everything that most people shy away from. So we're going to go up and increase our talking time and just do it audio. And I haven't actually done a podcast. I hate to say, oh, I'm going to be doing a podcast, because everyone says they're going to be doing a podcast, and most people's podcasts suck.
Ouch.
And I'm afraid of being, that guy. So I figured
Make someone else that guy.
I just started doing a vlog, and I had been putting it off for a long time, but I follow Gary Vaynerchuk, not religiously, but every once in a while I'll see a post from him, and there's a post that he just kind of hit me really hard with, where he's saying, don't create, just document, like just keep on providing content, and don't wait until you're ready for something, or stop thinking about how to make it amazing. Just document really quickly and put it out there. And so that's what I started doing, and hopefully it doesn't suck, but I'm trying to purposely keep it under 3 minutes, and I'm putting out like quick little videos on what it's like to be self-employed and an artist, and just trying to, you know, basically make my career happen. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, right now I'm not really. Actually, I'd be more worried if people were watching it, to be honest, because it is not good. It is not ready. It is not ready for prime time at all. But the point is that I'm trying to get myself, you know, just experienced and figure out, oh, you know, this is how you edit a video. This is how you add like title effects or whatever. And rather than just try to practice doing it, I'm just actually doing it and figuring it out along the way. So it's pretty scary stuff, but I don't know if Gary Vaynerchuk is right about it, which hopefully he is, because he's made a lot of money doing what he does. It's you know, it'd be nice to try to build an audience just by documenting really quickly, you know, my quick little thoughts about something. So
I think that's a good idea.
yeah, it's not mine. You guys are free to take it. You know, just quick little YouTube videos, like, you know, 2 minutes or less or whatever, just talking about things that you think other people might find important or educational or whatever. You know, don't put a lot of production or time into it. Just kind of hit on the hot spots, and hopefully that's enough. Because the one thing that kind of made me think about it too, to try to keep it short, is that people just, they don't watch videos anymore. They just kind of like really quickly watch it if it's not something they're already like subscribed to. And so to try to capture somebody for more than 3 minutes, I mean, if I'm honest, capturing somebody longer than a minute is probably really difficult. So keep it short, keep it simple, and if you do what somebody is interested in, then they might come back and they might stay longer, but don't plan on it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I did when I did my Ask Mark videos.
How did those turn out?
I think I did them like 5 years ago, maybe less. But yeah, I got into the mood of it where I would just pick a little topic. One time I would happen to be in a park, got out my little camera, sat down there and said, okay, this is why you shouldn't do why you shouldn't be doing work for hire. I mean, not work for hire, but why I don't charge less for nonprofits.
Huh.
And so I would pick like a single topic and then quickly cover it real fast. And I had people asking me questions from my past articles, and I was pulling from my past written articles to do these. So it was really simple to just sit down and talk at the camera for 2 minutes.
Is that still up on YouTube or someplace?
Yeah, it's still up on YouTube.
You'll have to look for that.
Yeah, I got it on my list.
Because I actually, I would be curious to know why I shouldn't charge less for nonprofits.
Okay, so what is the difference between a regular nonprofit and a for-profit company?
The nonprofit can only invest in themselves, as opposed to that's what I was always told.
It is a tax designation. Basically, they're getting exemptions from the government on how much taxes they need to pay.
That's the only difference?
That's the only difference.
Huh.
So why should, now it used to be back before 1985 that if you did work for a nonprofit, you could take a tax deduction for the work that you did. This work was working out great, especially for museums, because museums could buy quality artwork from artists at market price, or rather, they wouldn't be able to buy it at market price. They couldn't afford that. But what the artist could do is get a tax credit for the value of the work that he was donating to the nonprofit. And for years, since what happened in 1985, however, was that tax exemption available to designers and the like you cannot get a tax deduction for the work that you do for that company. You're being treated as a regular company. The only thing that you can deduct is the cost of your materials, like say the canvas and the paint and things like that. However, a lot of these nonprofits still like to prolong the myth, or they perpetrate the myth that, oh yeah, go ahead and do this, you can write it off as a tax deduction. Well, you can't. They're treated like any other business now.
That's good to know.
So if they try to praise that, say, no, that's not the case, that's not been around since 1985, you don't know what you're talking about, which is what I've had to do with some nonprofits. Now, it's also, there's been some legislature as of late trying to get that back into position, but other things have been taking priorities like the Orphan Copyright Act and other nonsense. But it would be really, this has been a major hardship for museums because art museums have not been able to add anything new into their collections for almost 2 decades because they can't afford the artwork. They have to buy the artwork at the regular cost like everybody else. And naturally, they just can't. So a lot of art in America has stagnated as a result because these artists aren't getting known to the general public because they're not being shown in museums.
That's kind of I mean, that's definitely a shame, but thanks for telling me that. I mean, is there still a reason to go check out your YouTube video, or? Yeah,
well, there might be a little bit more in there, but that covered the gist of it. That was pretty much a 2-minute lecture. I've got other ones you can go to.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
There we go.
She knows me so well.
Well, we're a little bit past the hour mark. How much?
Yeah, you are. So
yeah,
we do the sign off, folks. Once again, you have been watching an episode of Epic Sketch Time. If you'd like to join us, please contact me on Twitter. That is at MarkMonlux. Send me your Gmail address so that I can invite you in. This is typically a weekly event that happens at 4:30 Pacific U.S. time, or in the morning if you're in Korea. So, and we'll be looking forward to seeing everybody next week. I'll talk to you guys then.
Okay.
Good seeing you all. See you next time.
Have a good one.